Welcome back to RapBabble, and today I need to review Lil Wayne's Carter 6. I kind of missed the Lil Wayne wave, so I wasn't a major fan of his before. I heard the singles, and I remember the Carter 3 time, and all people talking about greatest rapper alive, and well, he mostly spearheaded that. But then I started to get on the wave. I was a fan of Drake and Nicki Minaj, and they had an association with him. And I just thought, let me try this guy out. Let me see what he's like. I did start to like him as time went on. I did like the punchlines. So for me, the peak of Wayne in my experience and in my collection is Carter 4. So I was all over Carter 4. I was getting a lot of albums at the time. So when that one came along, I listened to it and I ate it up. I thought it was really good. I loved it. It had a lot of songs, and rarely, that always bothers me, but for some reason this time I could listen to 19 songs or so. It had 3 songs which were the same beat with different rappers on it, which I found interesting, so I liked that. Didn't even have a chorus to it. I wasn't fond of John, but anyway, this I'm rambling about my experience, but that was my experience of Lil Wayne. It's that, and then Carter 5. I got Carter 5 way after it came out. I liked about half of it. I cut it down quite significantly. Anyway, that was my experience with Carter 5. So now here Carter 6 is. And I've been interested in this album. And, then I saw the responses and people hate it. So we'll see how this goes. I don't anticipate hating it as much as everybody else. My only hope is I can take away a small 10-track album from it. If I can retain 10 tracks, I'll be happy. I don't want to not have Carter 6 in my collection, but if it's awful, I might have to skip it, so we'll see. So, I'm going to go through each of the tracks and then just kind of give you a commentary of each of them one by one as I go through them. And I'll try and make it brief because there's a lot of songs. Okay, so it just got off to an amazing start. There's this intro, which is fairly short, 1 minute 48 seconds, so it's not a full song, although maybe by this generation's standards the short songs are a bit shorter, but this isn't a short song necessarily. It doesn't really have anything in the way of lyrics. It's just a very epic sounding introduction with strings and electric guitars and a whole chorus of people singing, and it just sounds epic, and very few people can put that on and actually justify it. But this does feel like that moment. It has been quite a long time. He is a legend, so it's an amazing introduction. It's just so epic, and I love the artistry of the music. I'm going to call it musicality because that kind of means something different in drama, but let's put that to the side. But just the musicality of it, because with other songs it's they can be just the same thing looped all the time, or there might not be much to it. It might be bare bones, but not in a good way. And this just has so much to it. It's so rich. I adore this introduction, and it's very self-aggrandizing. It's King Carter. That's what they're saying over and over again. But yeah, it's a great way to start. So I absolutely love this intro. It's one of the best intros of an album I can think of. So, track 2, Welcome to the Carter. And it's just straight bars. Lil Wayne is doing what he does best. It's just pure lyricism, pure punchlines. It's relentless. I like the chorus as well. And he's given us exactly what we want. But he's also proven that he's still at the level he's always been. A lot of rappers deteriorate with time. But he's rapping just like he always did. Like, there's some great punchlines in there. It's clever. I just really liked it. And the chorus is great as well. The beat was decent. Bit of a letdown from the previous one because it was so epic. This feels like a good hip-hop beat, but nothing particularly special. But this is Lil Wayne. He's not really one to be a connoisseur of music and try and, cultivate the best body of work with a short amount of tracks. He's just going to take a lot. There's going to be a lot of songs, so I don't think, quality control is in the middle. But the beat is decent. I like the chorus as well, so it's well done. It's just the beat isn't at the level that the lyrics are or that the intro is. But he hasn't disappointed. So people really dislike this album. 2 songs in, I know it's only 2, but I'm kind of surprised that I'm loving the first track and the second track so much. I thought it was going to fall off straight away from the beginning. So thus far I'm happy, and it proves that he can still do it. And if he can at least have 9 other tracks like this, then I'll be able to compile an album from the Carter 6. Also, another thing is not much in the way of autotune, which is important. You know, it's his raw voice, and sometimes he uses it, so it was a noteworthy something to note. I mean, at the same time, I'm watching a reviewer who pointed that out, so it's not really my take, it's someone else's take, but I'm watching No Life Shack, who I'm a big fan of. And yeah, he mentioned it's his naked voice, so yeah, I didn't even think about that. But I don't know if he uses autotune all the time, so I don't know about that one. But anyway, track 2, I am happy thus far. Track 3, Bells. I am hugely conflicted on this one. I really didn't like the beat. This song was off. Firstly, it sounded like it was from the 1980s. I mean, the way he was rapping the chorus, it did sound like it was very 80s. He even spells out his name. Lil. It just... And the chorus just sounds really flat. It's not good. Choruses should be so different from the verses. So, and this feels like a demo song. It feels like this is really early in your career and you're just trying whatever, and you don't have much know-how, you don't have access to good beats, and you just rap over something pretty basic. And yeah, I was bored by this song. I think the lyrics were pretty typical Wayne, but nothing special. And I'm starting to feel, you know, when the other things are there, when there's a great beat, when I'm loving the lyrics, I don't really look closely at Lil Wayne himself. But one of the things that the reviewers kept saying is he hasn't matured. He just raps about the same things that he did 20 years ago. And it's true. And I could hear it. And it became so much more boring in this song than it was in the other song because the beat was not good and I wasn't carried away. I was just still as I was listening to this song, just thinking, really? You picked this beat? Really? That chorus? Get someone else to sing the chorus, make it a bit more sing-songy rather than just rapping. The chorus wasn't good. The beat wasn't good. That's 2 of the major elements. So, I didn't like it. It's the first loss on this album thus far. 2 wins and a loss. Track 3 was Hip Hop, and that song, I have a big question mark over it. I loved the beat. I loved the features. It's just Lil Wayne was a little bit of the weakest part of the song. And he did well. It's just because it's his album, he really shouldn't be outshined. But I don't know Big X the Plug, but I'm interested now. And I loved his chorus as well. The chorus, even though he was rapping the chorus, there was a lot of melody to it and there was so much bounce to it. So the song was a lot of fun, actually. The beat was really good. And I especially loved it at the end when both Big X the Plug and Lil Wayne were rapping the chorus. That was really good. I love it when people sing together. It feels so good, it sounds so good, and it's just richer than just a single person doing it. So I'd love to hear it more. And there was another guy, an unknown guy, who seemed to do a decent job. Lil Wayne's giving the spotlight to some other artists that people don't know, so I like this. I've always been a champion of... I've always praised people for doing that, because some people just get features for themselves to make themselves more popular, but I think it's better for the music industry if all the big artists give a leg up to the up and comers, and it's a good exchange. You know, they get some heat, and the person gets a look in. They get some advertisement. So, you know, this is a decent. Would I put in the Carter? Well, given that it kind of takes away from Wayne, the Carter 6 probably isn't the best place for it, but ultimately it's good music, so I guess anything that's good music should be on there. And it's an interesting, slightly controversial thought, but let's say you're a weak rapper. If you turned into DJ Khaled and you just stopped rapping on your own songs, but you still had a good ear for beats and you still brought people together, and you just maybe came on and said a line or a chorus, I think that's better than trying to keeping the ego intact and forcing yourself to rap on the song. And I think there's one guy. There's two guys I think that would fit this criteria who actually make really good executive producers, but not great rappers, and that's French Montana and Travis Scott. If I could, I would love Travis Scott to just focus on Cactus Jack, to stop releasing his own music, because I just want someone more lyrical, really. I actually like a lot of his songs, but it's just, he's such a great executive producer, and he just makes, like, his albums are just, they're a bit trancey and they're different and they're just something else. You know, he's another one who can say, I'm a Martian, I'm on another planet. And I would love him to executive produce other people's albums, but I don't pay attention to anything Travis Scott says because it's just waffle. He doesn't say anything substantial, so it feels like his career is wasted on himself. And I wish he produced other people. And French Montana is another one. French Montana, I'm going to go into hip-hop histories and hip-hop chronicles because that's what I love. I know this is meant to be a review, but I'm going to do it anyway because I love this stuff. Unforgettable. French Montana found this song. There was a producer trying to get someone to buy the beat. Sway Lee and Wizkid had actually made a version of this song. And it was great. I have the original, and it's better than the one that was released ultimately. But the producers said they wanted $300,000 for this beat. And that's, I've literally never heard of anyone charging that much for it. And they stood their ground. They said, this is what we're charging. They didn't budge. And so Wizkid and Sway Lee had to let it go. I don't know whose it was. It was probably Wizkid's. And Sway Lee jumped on. But yeah, the original artist had to let it go because they just weren't willing to pay that much money. French Montana heard it and he realized the potential of it. Like, that's some good executive producer moves. So he took the huge risk and he paid it out of his own pocket. And because he was buying the song, he put himself on the song and therefore made it worse. So I don't like French Montana on that song. It's kind of a waste. It's a great beat, but it's just, French Montana's rhymes are just kind of weak and he only cares about money and he's kind of empty and vapid. And so, yeah, I still like the song, but despite French Montana, Sway Lee makes the song. Really, it should have been Sway Lee's song. I think they could have done more with it and it could have been a bigger hit. But maybe French keeps ownership of it and says, he gifts it to Sway Lee and says, I'm still going to make all the money off it, but I'm just going to put it under your name. But I understand why he wanted to keep it for himself because it's your own song. You get to top it. It probably got to number one. It was just something else. It was a phenomenon, that song. And then the video as well. French Montana, again, great move. Went to an African country, maybe Uganda? I'm not sure. But he went and he filmed a video there, and it was, I don't think of anything when I watch the video. I just think it's a music video. But when I think of the risk he took and the decision he made to go there, to go to an African village, it's quite a poor village, and record the kids dancing and playing, and it's just such an uplifting video. And it was a great move. I never would have... When you see the finished product, you think, well, of course this is a good idea. But if someone actually proposed that to you, you wouldn't necessarily say, yeah, this is a good idea. Where are the cars and the girls? Like, you're just going to go to a poor village and show kids dancing? Is that going to work in a hip-hop video? It's very adult medium. Like, don't you want not to have kids there? It's not really interesting. But actually, they were all great dancers. I mean, they probably picked the best dancers, but it's really fun and uplifting, and it's such a feel-good video. And he chose that. So he's a good executive producer. He should run his own label. Unfortunately, he's way too focused on money, and he's not really one focused on art. So that's probably why. So he may not make a good one, but he's definitely made some good moves. Anyway, two people who would have made better executive producer. So yeah, Lil Wayne, this is the first time I've thought that. He still holds his own on this song. I wouldn't remove him from the song. It's just, yeah, suddenly he has a song that's actually bigger than him. But I'm still putting it in the plus category, so I'm going to keep track of all of this. How many songs do I like? And thus far, it's 3 wins and 1 loss. Track 4, Sharks. And this one, again, it's another question mark over it. Overall, I like it. I'm going to keep it. I like the separate components of it. I just didn't like the whole. I like the chorus and the meaning behind the chorus, which is great. It just doesn't feel like it fits on a hip-hop song. It almost feels country. And then the beat as well is very much not hip-hop. So again, and you can rap over it and it sounds okay. But they just felt like a bit of a mismatch. If those lyrics were of a different beat, a harder beat, a faster beat, even a slower, more somber beat, but something more hip-hop, I would have been happier with it. But it just feels like a mismatch of two things, and it still sounds decent. I'm going to keep it because all the components are actually really good by themselves. They just don't fit together here. So yeah, I'll keep it, but this could have been better. But I am going to praise it though, because it was good. Like the lyrics, I was paying attention to the lyrics. It was about sharks, well, they mentioned a lot of snakes as well, snakes and sharks, but people betraying you. And I'm glad, this song has a lot of meaning. One of my big criticisms of Lil Wayne is he doesn't really have a lot of meaning, and he's just given us loads of that. So, I'll put up with the mismatch of this song, but it's definitely it's a win. This song is a win, because the only way it fails is it's a mismatch, not because of the separate components. So this is a win. Track 6, Banned from NO. I haven't even finished the song yet. I'm only a couple of seconds into it, but I've already got things to say. This sounds like a mixtape song. So the beat is quite... It feels like it's from a long time ago. It doesn't sound like they've put too much effort into it. They just, hey, what sounds good? Let's go for it. It's a very fast beat. It just does sound like it's from the past, and this would fit well on a mixtape. On an album, like, this is the problem with 19-track albums. You just have loads of different feels. If he had a whole album of mixtape songs like this, I would feel differently about it. But when he has songs like Jelly Roll, when he has the King Carter introduction, the Jelly Roll song, Sharks, with this not so hip-hop beat, and it's quite a somber sound to it, and instruments rather than just everything being electronic. And then that soft singing of Jelly Roll, like, that song doesn't fit this song. So the vibe is just completely disjointed on hearing this song. So I don't like it as much as I would have if he just put out, say, a mixtape before the Carter 6 that was all of this kind of song. But thus far, this is again just like one of the previous songs where it's just bars. He's destroying it. He's just like non-stop punchlines and lyrics, and it's this is Wayne in his prime. This is him at the top of his game. So I'm gonna get back to the rest of the song, but I'm already impressed by what I hear. I'm just disappointed by the mismatch. Don't have 19-track albums. Have 2 albums with different feels at different times, or have a mixtape preceding it. Wayne, I'm annoyed, but this is a message to the entire industry. All of you are doing it, and if you're gonna do it, at least Drake put out a double album with 2 different feels to the different side. It's still a disappointment because I don't want that. I just want one. I'd rather just have 2 albums than a double album, but at least there's some separation. This is a complete mixture, and therefore it's just throwing me off with different vibes and different parts of the album. So not happy with that, but it's still a great song anyway, and I'm going to get to the rest of it. I'm back. I just finished it. And okay, the beat, I know why I felt like it was an old beat and a mixtape beat. Just because the instruments that they were using were very much, and the drum pattern as well was very much from that era. But I really like the beat. It's really fast, and it's quite hard as well. When you listen to the drum beat, it's really hard, and it's it gets you moving. It's such a feel good song. It's funny. It's a rap song where there's a lot of raps about, I don't know. They're not feel good topics necessarily. I mean, he is praising himself. But yeah, I just can't believe how energized I felt from hearing that song, and the beat plays a massive role in it. And then, like, it's the perfect marriage between the beat and Lil Wayne, because they're both energizing. So this is, like, before I said there was a complete mismatch, here is the perfect match. The two of them blend well, and it sounded great. I was just listening from beginning to end, and they had these trumpets as well that came in at some points, and it just... Trumpets give things an epic feel. Like, all those orchestral instruments, whenever I hear them, especially when they layer them and they have multiple rather than just one, songs always feel epic. So I always love when people do that. So he threw that in here, and it did make it feel epic, because without that, it would have felt like a bit of a plain rap song. Like, the beat wouldn't have felt as epic as it did. But with that added in, it felt amazing. But the beat itself, though, I'm going to praise the beat itself, because it's just fast-paced, it's hard-hitting, and it just makes you feel good. And it flows so smoothly. It flows smoothly. And Lil Wayne just doesn't let up. He's just got bars on bars on bars. So that's a definite win. That's an easy win for me. Track 7, The Days. I'm feeling another mismatch here. It is a pop rock song. It's got Bono on the chorus. It's got a pop beat. Doesn't sound hip hop at all. Lil Wayne sounds good on it. He has fit into it well. So it in itself, in isolation, is a good song. But this feels like... It feels like when Eminem went pop for a while and had that, Recovery album. And it just sounded kind of tame. This is hip hop. I'm not really looking for this, so it makes for a good pop song, but it's a mismatch on this album. And even as a song, it sounds good and it feels good. It's just a bit... There's something tame about it. Even for a pop rock song, there's some good ones. There's some hard hitting ones. That's debatable, actually. Maybe if it's hard hitting, it by definition can't be a pop rock song, because pop rock songs are quite soft and they're safe. They're very safe. So this feels very safe, and it feels very radio friendly. It does feel quite grand. It's just doesn't fit on this album. Doesn't fit Lil Wayne, and I just didn't want to hear it. But I can like it for what it is. And you know what? It fits in with Sharks as well, actually. And you know what? If he just... This is where I'd prefer him to just put a Rebirth album out. Just put a rock album out and just put these songs on there and put out 12 tracks and then separate it from the hip-hop. Because, yeah, I'm not one for mixing. I'm not one for having everything all together, all getting along well, all different genres on one album. No, I like segregation. We're going to have one type of music on this album. That's it. So, that one might actually... I'm going to take this one off. I'm going to count this as a loss, just because I don't really want to hear it again, because it was just kind of... It was a bit boring. I liked what he was saying. I liked the sound of it. I liked the vibe of it, but just I didn't love it. It was just, yeah, this is nice. It's such a radio song. It's such the song that you would just hear when you're, doing something and there's music in the background. And it's not center stage. So I can't. I know if I had this album in my collection, I would skip over this track to go to the next one. Even though I'm keeping Sharks, but Sharks was more of a hip hop song. Like, the lyrics were more powerful, and it had Big Sean, and it had this had shorter verses as well. This song, The Days, had much shorter verses, which fit the whole pop rock aesthetic. So it worked. And it needed to be that. And I like that Lil Wayne knows what he needs to do to make a pop song. And he's done it. But I didn't want this pop song. Didn't like it. I didn't like it on Carter 6. Didn't like it for Lil Wayne. I do like it in isolation, but give it to someone else. Track 8, Cotton Candy. Didn't like this one. So let's take the components apart first. The drum beat was good. It felt good. It was fast moving. it had bounce to it. That definitely worked. The lyrics, as usual, decent. They're both good lyricists, both Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz. It was refreshing to hear 2 Chainz as well. I think this feature fits this album. I was a bit unsure of Jelly Roll. I didn't think Jelly Roll fit. I don't think Bono fits, but 2 Chainz slots in here so perfectly. So I definitely liked 2 Chainz verse. And like, he matches Lil Wayne. Like, they're the same guy almost. So I liked that. I didn't like the saxophone and the sing-song chorus. They were both good in their own right. Like, this whole song, I dislike it subjectively, but not objectively. I can't say it's a bad song overall. Because if you separate the drum beat and the lyrics on one side and the saxophone and the chorus on the other side, and you put them with other things, they work really well. So yeah, the saxophone and the chorus, it was a risk. It was different. I guess it gives variety to the album. But for me, it doesn't fit here. And I don't really like hearing Lil Wayne next to it. So yeah, I just wasn't fond of it. But it did sound uplifting. It did sound fun. So I did like it. But I'm very much taken out of the Carter series mindset with this very, happy, almost family-friendly type singing. And then next to it is all these lyrics which are about something completely different. And I prefer it when the two tones match. You know, all this sugar, sweet sort of music. That chorus was for a pop song. It's for a pop song, someone in the early 20s who's just singing about love and how much they love someone who's super sweet. That's where I want to hear that. So if that saxophone and that chorus was there in a pop song, I think this would work much better. Lil Wayne does have some variety to him. Track 9, Flex Up. This one, let's talk about the beat first. It was so melancholic. It was lovely. This is one of my favourite beats on this album thus far. Probably, it is my favourite. It's the only one that I've pinpointed as this is what I like. And it's quite a mildly sad, melancholic song. And it's a little bit wasted here. Because Lil Wayne raps about many different things. So it's not really about anything specific. I mean, for me, one of my favourite Wayne songs is I'm Single. And it's not only is the beat very melancholic, but the lyrics are sticking to a theme that matches the beat. So for me, I want that. I want an entire album of that. I want Lil Wayne to do loads of that. And he's got the beat right here, but he doesn't really have the lyrics are not on one topic specifically. So it was hard for me to keep track of what he was saying. He raps well, but there's something to the public criticism of you're rapping about the same thing, because it's not just you're rapping about the same thing, but 21 tracks of nothing specific can really grate on you. It can just get a bit weary. So I'm kind of hitting that point where the beat is memorable, the lyrics are not. I wish there was something more here. But it's a good song, and it's more of what I wanted. So yeah, I'm happy. But it's becoming more noteworthy now that I'm just saying, yeah, the lyrics were great on every single song, but there's no variation on what I'm saying. Whereas when it comes to the beat, I'm really critiquing it, and it really differs from song to song, and sometimes it's great and sometimes it's awful. Yeah, so just, yeah, this is mostly about the beats. That's the most interesting part. But I did like this, and I'm complaining less about this song. The other ones I had big complaints where I said nothing matches. The beat matches what I expect from Lil Wayne, what I want from Lil Wayne. The lyrics do as well, so nothing is out of place here. So I like this song. I'm going to keep the song, but I wish it was more. Track 10, Island Holiday. I currently have my face somewhat screwed up as a result of this song. This song is the biggest question mark thus far. So Wayne is singing, and he's got auto-tune on, And it doesn't sound too bad. I'm not offended, I'm not annoyed. The singing is fine, actually. The problem I have with this song are the lyrics. Well, firstly, the lyrics are not Lil Wayne lyrics. He's gone very off script and he's gone off brand, essentially. This is a pop song. Like, if you took Lil Wayne off and you put someone else on, I would think, hey, this is a really good pop song. Get someone in their early 20s to film a video on a beach with girls in bikinis, and it's a very light, happy song about staying on an island, and there's those are light-hearted lines on there. It's a nice feel-good pop song that you're going to forget. It's very feel-good, so it works. But this is Lil Wayne, and this is a Carter album. And it's just, what is this pop song doing on this album? And then when he says things like Carter 6 on it, I just remember, oh, this is a Carter album. Like, it's a pop song, so you don't, when you hear something like that, it's very jarring. So yeah, I'm very conflicted over this song. And yeah, this is probably one of the reasons why people hate this album. The rest of it doesn't deserve the hate, but I get that they're disappointed and they wanted more. But yeah, this is one of those ones where you can really point to and really say this was not what we expected. So that is Holiday, the most conflicting song for me of all of them thus far. Track 11, Loki's theme. So after many tracks of complaining, I got what I wanted, which is a beat that fits the Carter series and Lil Wayne, and lyrics that fit the Carter series and Lil Wayne. And yeah, I'm still disappointed. I don't know what it is. I guess the lyrics are quite unfocused, so I wish it was a bit more focused. I was looking for a theme. I don't think there was a theme. He does mention blood a lot in the middle, which I thought might be a blood gang thing, which it probably is, but it's not obvious what he's saying. It's just references with red and blood in it, so it kind of feels a bit pointless. And then there's a rock ending, which I thought I liked. It sounded good, so I liked that part. It obviously didn't fit the rest of the song, but it just reinforces the point that he should just make a Rebirth album. Just make Rebirth 2, put all the rock songs and all the pop songs on there, and then you won't disappoint anyone. Because I don't really want it here. And especially in the same song. Like, having a rock song on a Carter series album is bad enough. But now taking a very typical Wayne song and then making a very sharp left turn, not that fond of that. It's sad because the beginning was still quite good. The beat I liked, and it was very simple. Like, I liked this because it just felt like, it feels like what I want rap to be. Simple beat, just lyrics, that's enough. That's entertainment for a long time. Yeah, just if it was a bit more... I do need a theme. Give me some theme, and then I'm happy. Then I have no complaints at all. This didn't have a theme, but it was close to being what I wanted, except for the left turn, so yeah. And one thing I really want to highlight and really want to stress is I think we're in the era where you don't need quality control. Back in the day, you had a limited number of spaces on the album. And even so, people even cut back anyway. So it was like 15 tracks maybe, and sometimes 4 skits quite far back. So yeah, they would usually fill up 70 minutes, but they were limited by the size of the CD, which could only hold 70 minutes of music. So they would have to throw away certain songs. But in the streaming era, in the digital era, there's no physical limit. And so I think now they're just putting everything they make onto the album, because it will result in more short-term streams, not long-term streams, because a great shorter album will probably be returned to more than a big bloated thing. But if you want to do like high short-term numbers, if you want to sacrifice the future and bring some to the present, you can do that by having 21 songs. Then everyone who listens to it listens to 21 tracks, and then that's more streams in the short term. But in the long term, people are not going to return to it. So And I guess it's about the chart position, which helps you get further. Anyway, I'm into the art rather than the business, so I wouldn't do this myself, and I'm not happy when people do it. But that's what it feels like. There's not really much quality control. And what would be great is if we could cut down some of these lyrics, because in some cases, you can get rid of certain lines. Like, you can combine two songs into one. If you take the good lyrics from one song and good lyrics from the second song, I'd love to see that kind of quality control and editing. But it's not here. It just feels like maybe he just made 21 songs and he just put all 21 of them on. I mean, maybe there's even more and it's even worse. Maybe he made 40 songs and then cut it down by half and is still this bloated mess. But that's albums for you in this day and age. They're all 20 tracks plus. So, yeah. I don't like this era, but... And what's funny is I have to now be the executive producer of the album. It's been a long time since I've had an album which I've just kept all the songs, because it's always 25 songs and I only like 12 of them. So I actually end up getting a good album. Maybe even a better album than I would have if they had chosen to 12 songs. But I still would prefer to be in a world with less tracks. Even if they get rid of some that I like, the experience is so much better to have less. And I concentrate on each song more. So, yeah. Overall, this has brought me down, this song. Especially because of what it represents. What the missed opportunity this album was. But yeah, the part before the rock was good, but still unfocused. Yeah. Let's move on. Track 12, If I Played the Guitar. Okay. He's not going to consistently give us... It would be good if I could just say, oh yeah, this song was great, that's it. This song was great, that's it. But every song seems to be controversial. So, actually this song was great. This song is powerful. It's vulnerable. Wow, it's vulnerable. It's a love song. I really felt the love through this song. And he just says, like, I'm on your hook. You're playing me. Like, just the fact that he's so... This is the guy who keeps talking about being the best rapper alive. And then on this song, he's just completely vulnerable and just saying, yeah, she's got me. I'm so not used to rappers saying this, so the vulnerability was there. And therefore, it was just so relatable. I loved how relatable it was. Then it was just a guitar as well, which was the beat, which was just really soothing and it was calm and it was lovely. And it fit the lyrics as well. There were no drums and it was not a rap song. It was really it was like a pop rock song, and it doesn't fit on this album, which is becoming the theme. But I like this the most. Out of all the songs that are out of place, I actively like this one a lot. This was an experience, and it's just such a good song. I mean, he needs to make that pop rock album, and if he had this song on it, it'd just be so good. I loved it. I really loved it. Can't believe how powerful that song was, because there's like most of this album is forgettable. It's completely forgettable. And it had a theme. The beat matched the theme, the lyrics as well. Like, everything was in sync, and this just turned out to be great art. Like, this is what I want. So yeah, I'm really surprised. I can't see many rap fans loving this the way that I do. I'm an emotional soul, and I'm a vulnerable one as well. So I appreciate it. This is my thing. Other people aren't going to like it so much. So yeah, that is probably where a lot of the hate is coming from. And I can see it now as well. The last couple of songs have been hit and miss. Like, he put the better songs at the beginning. So I did get fooled into thinking, what are they all talking about? But yeah, the Bono song, then the Jelly Roll song was okay. But yeah, Island Holiday and this one, like, that's 3 songs that are just so out of place. And then everything in between is kind of half good, half bad. So yeah, I'm starting to see now. They weren't exaggerating. But this song is magic. Yeah, it shouldn't be on this album. It could even be loose. Like, maybe it'd be better off just being loose. I think being on this album will kind of make it get lost. In the same way that Hotline Bling was loose. It wasn't attached to an album. And, this song dropped loosely would have been better. So, yeah, I really like this song. I really do. Track 13, Peanuts to an Elephant. I am scratching my head. This is awful. The beat sounds like it's a nursery rhyme. It just sounds silly. It sounds cartoony. It's like the music that they play when a cartoon character is doing something, but there's no dialogue. Like behind the cartoon character's back, the character's tiptoeing and then stealing something. I don't know. It just sounds silly. So that's one thing. I mean, everything is in sync here, but it's all bad. The lyrics are just embarrassing. They just don't make any sense. He's literally just rhyming whatever and saying whatever. And I kind of see what he's saying, but it's such a stretch that it's too much of a stretch. Once you stretch something that far, it snaps and it's no longer connected to the thing that it was originally connected to. So I'm just listening to all of these lyrics and just think, this is dumb, this is stupid, this is nonsense. Absolute nonsense. I know this one was talked about a lot. This was for a lot of people the worst point of the album, and I can hear why, because everything is so in sync in its badness. But yeah, it has matched the expectations that everyone gave it. Everyone was accurate when they said the song was awful. And then it's got that elephant noise as well to just makes it worse. Like, I could have told him that was going to be awful and it's not going to be heard well. It sounds like a joke. This sounds like a joke song. Also, the lyrics sound senile. You know, it kind of feels like someone who's been working at that job for such a long time, but now they're actually starting to forget things because they're senile. Their mind isn't working properly, so now they're, putting the wrong things in places. Like, they're serving food, but they're putting tissue on a plate and serving it to people. Like, that's not food. What are you doing? Do you not know the very basics of this job? And Lil Wayne doesn't seem to know the very basics of speaking because he's just saying rubbish. And I loved the last song as well. It's so weird. But I guess this is what happens when you don't have quality control. And, okay, here's something that I've figured out. Rappers leave when they have a 5-album initial contract. When they finish that, they tend to go on to their own label. They normally would have started their own label, and so when they finish their original contract, they go to their own label. When they're on their own label, they are their own boss, and therefore they do the quality control. Whereas back in the days of their first contract, somebody else did quality control. So here's a good example. Kanye West, on Rockefeller, which means he needed to get a sign-off from Jay-Z, from Dame Dash, and then a sign-off from somebody higher up in Def Jam. So there was quality control. There were at least 3 people. Biggs probably wasn't involved, but at least 3 people who'd have to say it's good before it went out. And so he had 5 very high quality albums. He had a 6th, which was on Rockefeller, but it was Yeezus, and there's a question mark over that. But let's ignore that. And then he went to his own label, Good Music. And on Good Music, he put out Life of Pablo, which was completely unfocused. It had a song where he didn't even finish he didn't even do a second verse. 30 Hours I'm talking about. It was a very bloated album, so no one was, checking on the quality, like the number of the tracks. No one was checking to see if there was a theme or to get rid of songs that didn't fit. It was just a big mixture. And Life of Pablo was really when he lost me. I still stayed a fan and listened to everything he put out after that, but he wasn't the genius he was anymore. Now I was having to delete songs off the album and trim it down. Now I had to be the executive producer, and that's not what I wanted. And Lil Wayne's in this position. And you know what? People don't realise this. It's not really known, but actually, I'm starting to think now, based on what I've heard from people and the awful music they put out later on in their careers, when they should be better, but they're worse because they're on their own labels. that maybe the executive producer is as much of an artist as the artist. Well, like 10% or so. But they still have an influence on the sound. They are essentially the director of the album, and they need someone who isn't themselves to be that director. And, you know, unless some people can do it. Some people can write their own music and be their own executive producer and they have a good ear for it. But some people don't. And so they should humble themselves and put themselves under an executive producer who can tell them whether this is good or whether this is bad. Because this lack of quality control is starting to hurt the quality of music. And I guess people didn't have this longer lifespan of music back in the day, at least outside of like major artists like the Michael Jacksons of the world. You know, they could... Prince, you know, he did something like, I don't know, 20 albums or something. Those people, actually, I don't know if the quality stayed up. But now rappers are getting to that point and they're able to stay as long as they want. And they don't have quality control and they need someone to tell them whether it's good or not. So this is a good example of that. Peanuts to an elephant. Most people, based on the reaction of everyone who hated it, you know, most people who criticized the album, they hated it. It would have been easy to find any executive producer who would have banned that song because it was so widely hated. So he needs one of those. Track 14, Rari. Okay, let's start with the chorus. It's Lil Wayne's son, Cameron Carter. Cameron spelt with a K. Although his surname's spelt with a C, so yeah, that confusing. So the chorus was the kid saying he's zooming. It was auto-tuned and it didn't sound good. It was bragging. It was fake. I mean, well, he didn't make the money himself, so yeah, he has a Ferrari, fine, bought from his dad. That's not really something to show off. This is hip-hop. We don't really want to hear you show off about buying something because you inherited, because your dad gave you money, basically. It's just against the ethos of hip-hop. So he's failed on that point. It just sounds soulless. He sounds like, I think he's a kid. He sounds like a kid, so he's not driving anything. So it's inauthentic. So yeah, it sounds auto-tuned, it's inauthentic, it's just wrong on so many levels, and I just didn't like the sound of it. I mean, it was very repetitive as well, but I just hated it on all levels. I hated it on every single level. I hate this chorus. The lyrics were decent. The beat was okay. Forgettable. I didn't really like the beat. But I don't actively hate it, I just passively dislike it. But no. Overall, that song is getting dropped. I wouldn't keep that. That chorus is annoying. And the lyrics, I wish I could have kept them, but I'm so annoyed by the beat and the chorus that it just overshadows the entire song. Even though the lyrics should be the meat of the burger. It is not in this case. It's been completely overshadowed by the rubbish that you put as the filling in the burger. This is horrible. I don't like this song. Track 15, Maria. This was an intriguing one. So straight away it starts off with some singing, some piano, I think it was. And it just sounded like, what is this doing here? This is different. And then Wyclef comes along and the beat comes in. And when the beat comes in, okay, now I understand if it is hip hop. The drum beat, I like the drum beat. Very typical hip hop drum beat. And, this is something I really like. I like a mixture of traditional hip-hop with something else. And it's failed on other times with the saxophone and the sugary sweet song. But here it really works, actually. This is a great mixture of two different things. And it's exactly the kind of risk you want people to take. You want artists to take on their album. So I think this one is actually worthy of being on the Carter 6. I wouldn't take this one off. I like this risk that he's taking, and it feels like a grand song. It feels like a risk, and it feels like something different, because you don't want the very typical beat with just his typical delivery. Like, it just gets a bit boring after a while. So this variation is actually really welcome. The pianos, the very operatic singing, Wyclef as well. And I liked Wyclef's story of coming to America. So I did get really gripped by that story. So yeah, it was a decent song. I liked it quite a bit. I don't think it had didn't have much of a chorus on it, no. But the rest of it was good because it takes risks. The rest of it was good because it takes risks. So I really enjoyed that song. Track 16, Being Myself. That was awful. I really didn't like that. I didn't like the beat. I didn't like the chorus. And the lyrics, be yourself can be a deep topic, and it would be interesting. This was extremely shallow. I mean, Lil Wayne's been nothing but himself, and I guess you can even congratulate something that you are all the time, but this was just rapping for the sake of rapping. It's just anything that's I can say that sounds like me being myself or self-related or whatever. So it just made it really boring. It didn't really go anywhere. It didn't excite me. It just felt like exercise. This would be the perfect lyrical exercise to just practice, get used to rhyming different things and kind of staying on the same topic but slightly verging a little bit. Like, this is practice. This is not something that you put out as professional work. And it's very rarely that I dislike everything about the song. Everything about the song. I hate it on all three levels. I hate the chorus. I hate the beat. The beat is just forgettable. It's just boring. And it's got the singing on it. And I just don't like Wayne's choice of singing. Singing can sound great on hip hop, but for some reason he picks this stuff that's just not for me in the slightest bit. And then the lyrics, I mean, he's a good lyricist in terms of rhyming words, but in terms of the actual content of the lyrics, this is just abysmal. And what's interesting is, I don't hate the song. I just have very little feeling towards it. I just don't like it enough to even give it any energy. Just get it away from me and I never have to hear it again. It's worse than hating something. It's not caring about something. Track 17, Moolah Coming In with Lil Novi. No. It was awful. It was so bad. Lil Novi is just too much auto-tune, and he's just clearly just not good. This is Lil Wayne's youngest son, so naturally he's not going to be very good. I mean, this is the side of music we don't normally hear. Because normally, people who are really bad don't get in. They don't get a chance to get anywhere because their music is screened out. I mean, this sounds like someone who's a rapper or a producer or in a record label, and somebody runs along and says, look, I've got an album. I'm amazing. I'm going to be the next big thing. And you hear it, and it's just that. And it's just, this is never going to get anywhere. Now, it's a kid, so I'm not going to be too hard on him, but I'm annoyed at Lil Wayne for putting him on this album. I think if he wanted to put his kids on an album, he should have made some kind of compilation and, give them something there. But to put them on a Carter album is just a really bad idea. Because, it's the whole X Factor thing where the parent runs on stage and says, my kid's amazing, how could you say no? And the kid's obviously awful, but parents are so blind with love, they just think their kid's amazing. So they're going to say that. So you just shouldn't put yourself in that position where you put your own kid on because, it sounds awful. And I've heard this many times. Everyone who puts their kids on, they're not good. They don't add to the song, and it's not a good idea. So then none of them should do it. If you want your kid to be able to play in the music industry, give them a song under their name on some compilation album. But it really ruined the song. It really hurt the song. It was causing damage to my ears. It was so bad. The autotune was just turned up so high. And he's a kid rapping about, he's imitating a rapper, basically. So it's not new. There's no quality there. There's nothing there. It's just he's trying to be a rapper, and, he's done the imitation right. But it's not even passable. It's really bad. And then Lil Wayne comes in and he does a verse, and it's too late to save it. I didn't really like the beat as well. It wasn't that great. So overall, this was a hard fail. It wasn't just a small fail. It was really hard. Yeah. It was bad. Okay. Track 18, Alone in the Studio with My Gun. Okay, this song is a passable song. Like, this one is fine on this album. It's fine on a Carter series album. I liked it. It was melancholic. It had MGK and Kodak Black. Yeah, I don't really love it per se, but I liked it. You know, I've really got nothing bad to say about this song. Even the singing on it, you know, MGK, I liked the mood and the vibe, and it was good. Yeah, I don't have any specifics because I didn't love it, but I'm glad there's something on here that deserves to be here. And I'm glad that, you know, when I do cut this album down, like before it was mostly wins and very few losses, I was thinking, how am I going to cut anything down from this? And then there came a point where it was just all losses, just all cuts. So it's good to be back to something that's actually going to survive. But it's good music. I liked it. So yeah, I'm glad. Track 19, Written History. That was a good one. I liked the beat. It was very simple. It was very hip hop. I didn't like the music without the beat at first, but then when the beat came in, suddenly it all clicked into place. And it was a very subtle beat as well. You can mostly hear the drums, and then you hear a little bit of instrumentation in the back, but it's very, very background. The lyrics are very foreground, and it just feels like classic Wayne. He's just doing what he does, and he does it really well. And this one's a bit more focused, not necessarily in terms of topic, but just, yeah, punchlines. I don't know, I just like the whole thing, really. It was great to listen to. It doesn't always have to have a point, I guess. So, but it was just overall, I liked was there a chorus? I don't even remember. But I was just taken away by the song that I enjoyed it so much. And it felt like this is what people want from him. This is what ideally he would deliver to us. So he gave it to us, and yeah. Again, I don't have any specifics, but I was just taken away by this song. He had some interesting lines as well, because in other songs he's had some really weak lines. But on this one, he seemed to be actually very strong in everything he was saying. I'm just looking through it now to see. No, I just remember some clever lines. She wants some head, I'll decapitate someone. Yeah, great wordplay. I love it. I'm here for it. Like, that's what I want. And there was a lot of that here. And, you know, a lot of I'm the greatest, which we love that in hip hop. So yeah, bring it on. If you're going to rap about that, let's go for it. Yeah, so tick, tick, tick. This is one of the better songs on the album. Yeah, it was great. And that's the end of the album. Although I'm going to carry on to the bonus tracks as well. But it makes for a really good end, but no one's going to get all the way to 19 tracks, having suffered through everything else. This is why it needed to be 12 songs, and this can be song 12. If it's song 19, people aren't going to get that far, and it's just going to be this hidden gem that no one's ever going to pay attention to. What a shame. You really disrespected the song by just leaving it out there by itself where no one's going to hear it. So sad, but such a great song. Track 20, Banned from NO, the remix, featuring Nicki Minaj. Can you hear the excitement in my voice? So she picked one of the better songs on this album. It's a great song. It's definitely what the Carter should be delivering, and it's just an impressive song. I love it. The beat is fast paced, and I really like the beat. Maybe I didn't give it enough praise when I heard it the first time, but it's different. It's original. It's gone outside of its lane somewhere else. It has that, I don't even know what that sound is. It sounds there's an aspect of it which is quite old. But I just love the instrumentation behind it. It sounds grand. And I love the drum beat as well. It's very fast paced. Like, that beat I could just listen to that beat without any lyrics, because it's that great. It's that entertaining. It's just, yeah, it's a great beat. Perfect canvas to perform on. And then Lil Wayne comes in, and then all of his metaphors, all of his rhymes, especially there's either the chorus or the bit just before the chorus where it's he's making a rhyme twice in a single line, where he says, the cocaine whiter, the rope chain brighter, the chain choke tighter, the close range sniper. Like, for me, that's lyrical gymnastics, and I love that stuff. So the fact that he does that, so that's 8 rhymes in 4 lines, and he just goes bang, 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 bang. And then the next 4 as well is pretty good. It's quite tight. So that also, he gets that done. So that little bit, which he does after Nicki Minaj's verse, and he has it earlier on. That's his introduction. So I love that. That's just the song banned from NO without Nicki Minaj. And then Nicki Minaj comes in, and I was a bit skeptical at first. She was, there was a lot of auto-tune. It was a bit sing-songy. And I didn't really like it that much. I was a bit worried. I was thinking, is she really going to rap? Or is she just going to give us this sort of half singing, half rapping thing, you know, phone it in? So I was quite concerned. And she did it for 8 lines. A bar is a line, I think. So yeah, 8 lines, and I wasn't sure. And then she changed it, and then she went into. Then she had a proper 16, rapping properly. So I was really here for it. Like, I'm quite critical of Nicki Minaj. There's a lot I don't like about her, and I was really, really energized to hear her go for it and prove that she is a credible rapper, whereas a lot of the other women that have come up behind her haven't been. They've been good at other things, but not the skill of rapping. And Nicki Minaj proves that she can do it, and she's still got it. And yeah, I don't think she's been managed well, so I'm not happy with her career. But on a feature, she was great. She even represented Queens as well, Jamaica Queens, which she doesn't. I don't usually hear her mention it much. But I always like when people rep the place that they're from. So I like that as well. She was dominating, as she usually is, about other rappers, other female rappers. Although she didn't, repeat the same lines as she usually does. I didn't want to hear that they're her sons. She says it all the time. But I think she said it in a slightly different way. And she was a great addition to the song. It's disappointing that she's on a remix because it's going to get forgotten. I really want Nicki Minaj to be on an original song so that it's worth keeping. Otherwise, she would have replaced a Lil Wayne verse, and now I have to decide which version do I want, or do I somehow try and have both, or combine the two, or what do I do? So, yeah, that's given me a bit of a dilemma. But I really did like her what she brought to the song. She was just as energized as well. And, she came through, and is good. And another thing I like loyalty. I like people who are family who stick together. So it's really good to see Nicki Minaj backing Lil Wayne, because the two of them, her and Drake, haven't really featured on his material, and he hasn't featured on their material. You know, back in the Young Money days, they were really tight. They'd feature on each other's albums. They went their separate ways and then didn't really speak to each other again. The last time they were together was probably Lil Wayne put out a song with both of them on the same song. There were 2 songs that he released in that shortwave, and could it be Nicki Minaj? Anyway, it wasn't. It was okay. It was a loose song. It wasn't on an album, and I just wanted more of that. So to see her back, at least, I like it. I like those days, and I do want to see Drake and Lil Wayne feature together again as well, for the same reason. I like people who stick close together. If you see what's happening with Clips and Pharrell, they're tight as ever, and I love the loyalty. So to see that makes me feel good. It makes me feel good. That's why I like it. I like to see it because, it's heartwarming to see people stick close together and to look out for each other. And so, Nicki Minaj shows that they're still close, and she's still going to come through for him, and there's still that Young Money bond there, so I'm glad to see she's back on a Lil Wayne album. Track 21, Mama Don't Worry. And with this one, very much like, not the last one, another one I reviewed, where it was a nice, simple hip-hop beat. This was very somber as well. There were pianos in the background. And this other sound that I just can't really describe, but the combination of the two of them just sounded quite fine. I did like the mood. It was very somber. It's a mama song, which is a tradition in hip hop, but it's been a long time. It was nice to hear that. I found it interesting when both Lil Baby and Lil Wayne mentioned their dads and said, he wasn't really like they're trying to say, well, yeah, I do have a dad, but he's not getting praise on this song because mum did everything. So he was there, but not there. Lil Baby even said he mentioned his dad, and then he said, "You can't miss something you never had," assuming that his dad was absent. So I thought that was just a really powerful line. There were mentions of guns, which I just thought was a bit out of place here on this song. And even Lil Wayne went in a different direction for a short time and then came back to the Mama song. But yeah, he kind of got a bit detoured for a bit. I don't want to say the lines because it's all X-rated, let's say. But I didn't want to hear any X-rated lines on this song. And he mentioned a few, stick to topic. And then there's Future, singing the way he does. Future does chorus as well, so he definitely brought a sound, an aesthetic to it. And I don't like Lil Baby generally, but I liked him on this song. So yeah, I don't know what he was. He was intelligible. That's one of the big issues I have with a lot of rappers. You can't really tell what they're saying. This one, he was clear, and he's done a few meaningful, powerful songs. So it's good to know Lil Baby has that ability in him. So the combination of the three of them was great. It's great. 3 great rappers, and they came together and made something great. So this should have been on the album proper. I don't know why maybe it came too late to be on the main album, but really this should be on the main album and other tracks should have been left off. In terms of whether it's a Carter series song or not, I mean, it's a very somber and slow song, so I'd really like to keep those two vibes separate. So I wouldn't really put it on. I would just have like a short album, 12 tracks, and it all be hard, fast beats with lots of punchlines. And all this meaningful stuff should be... I want it to be in its own album. I want a meaningful album, but I don't like mixing all of them together. I don't like going from these highs to these lows. Maybe at the very least, you can have the mood slowly change through an album, as in start fast and then go down slow, or start slow and go up fast. But generally, I like the theme to be just one. So I didn't really want to hear this with this album, but this song is great. And look, even here, I'm just seeing the one of the end lines. Told my daddy, don't be sorry, I'm not going to blame you. So again, more dad rhymes as well. So, and that's something they don't do, actually. This is the most I've seen reference to a dad other than he wasn't around. So yeah, it's a nice change that dads are getting a little bit of recognition. It's still on a mum song, but it's literally the most I've ever seen. I've heard tons of mama songs, but not even heard a word about dad. And, they're not present, so that's why. But it's good to see that they're given some recognition because, and this speaks to a wider point, you want dads to be more involved in their kids' lives. They turn out a lot better. So, and maybe the thing to start with is fatherhood is actually being... championed heavily in hip-hop these days, but mostly because the rappers, hip-hop grew up. It started very young in the 90s. All the major rappers were in their early 20s, though a lot of them did have kids. And then when they get to their 40s, 20 years later, they have money. Okay, I'm going on a political rant here, but when you're a rapper and you have millions, you kind of have no excuse for not looking after your child. The courts are going to come for you and deduct your money anyway, so you're kind of tied in. So I'm not really going to give them a huge amount of praise, but I'm glad they are championing it. And they are actually doing good jobs. They are voluntarily doing a good job. Not Future. He's got 11 kids or so, and, you can't divide your time that much, and... he doesn't talk about fatherhood, so I think he's just one of those absent dads who just provides money and that's it. Yeah. Put Future aside. Everybody else, though, they're all raving about their kids, and their kids are all part of their lives and part of their identities. And I like to see it because it's healthy and it will raise a much healthier next generation, because all of these rappers are broken. None of them had dads and they all went down dark paths. I mean, these are the ones who survived and either had the work ethic or the talent or something to get them out of that situation. But for every one rapper who made it, there's another 20 who went the wrong way and died or in prison. So it's a really big issue. So yeah, this Mama song has now taken us in a different direction. But yeah, I'm glad to see rappers at least acknowledging their dads. And you know what? Even if their dads didn't do that much, just the make the point about fatherhood. You could do that. You don't even have to reference your own dad, but champion that. I want to see that championed. And there's trailblazers. The Jay-Z's, and Kanye West was big on fatherhood, and Eminem from the beginning. From his very first album, his daughter was involved. I guess he's the first that I can remember from starting, that early on talked about his kids. So now, well, it hasn't gone well with 50 Cent, but his second son, things are going well. His first son, not so much. But I'm glad that there's I'm glad they're talking positively about fathers. They never talked negatively, they just said he wasn't there. And, these guys didn't have fathers, but some of them are being fathers themselves. So they're filling in that hole that they never had. Lil Wayne is doing that. He's got quite a few kids. And they appear on this album. And he mentions Regine. So we know he's connected to his kids. That's good to see. Not Future, as I said before. So that kind of wraps up. Yeah, that is the entire album done. That's all 21 tracks. I'm going to add some other opinions here. For one, the cover is Baby Wayne with tattoos and all that stuff. Like, he did it at the Carter 3, and that was that was good. That was interesting. It was cute. Then he did it 4, 5, and now 6. It's just getting boring at this point. I don't want to see Baby Wayne. And I wonder if it's got something to do with his aging, because he just doesn't look great. So let's not put him. Let's put someone younger on the cover. So now he's just kind of leaning on that. But it's an opportunity for some art. I think album art is an opportunity for art where you can make something iconic. And rappers don't really care much about titles, and they don't care about front covers, but it's possible to make an iconic front cover. And I like art. I don't like art. Like, I don't go to galleries and I don't care about art itself, but I love image art tied in with other things. Movie posters and front covers of books and of albums. So for me, it's a big opportunity to tell a message. You should stay on brand and, show that brand, like extend that, make it something. And just tell a story and show us an interesting image. I want to see something, but I don't want to see someone leaning on a car, all that boring stuff. Seeing the rapper on the front, okay, that's just as boring as the car. If it's just their face or them on the car, that's a bit boring. I want some interesting image, and I really need to compile a list of best front covers that either tell a story or that are a piece of art themselves. I want that. I do like to have the rapper in it. I do like the kind of art where you are in it yourself rather than some random thing. Like Kids See Ghosts by Kanye and Kid Cudi is a nice cover created by an artist. It's very colourful. It has two people representing the two of them, but it's just art ultimately. So it's better than nothing. It's actually really good. It looks great, and I would put it up on my wall. I like it so much. It's not my example of a great front cover, so I've got to compile those. Actually, no, I can think of one. Get Rich or Die Trying was so on brand for everything that 50 Cent was. It really stood out. It's such a striking image, and it's just so powerful. It would have contributed to the sales of the album. It was so good. It was just so shocking. And just, the bullet holes through the glass, and he's there with a holster, and he's topless and muscly, showing how tough he is. Like, it very rarely does an album cover fit the brand of the person. And if it was 50 who decided that, I mean, he's smart and he kind of has run most of his career. He may have chosen that and it just worked perfectly. because it was just so on brand and just so it enhanced his brand. That's what it did, because it was enough for it to just be in the music. But just, there's something powerful about visuals. Put visuals to it, and it tells such a compelling story. Just as much as, narrating something in hip hop, to see the image is just great. And 50 gave us that. So that was a detour on front covers. But for Lil Wayne's one, I'm not giving him any points for that. He's just regurgitated the same thing. And it kind of speaks to his lack of imagination. Like, he's got no creativity other than like punchlines. He can't even really construct. No, he's done full songs with topics, actually. My favourite one is Single. I love Single. And he stays on topic. So he can, but he generally doesn't. But yeah, he didn't need to call this the Carter 6. I mean, maybe it was just cheap marketing, but give me an original title and give me a much more original cover, because that cover is just stale. It's stale. And I guess it's representative of the entire album, because the entire album is stale. I am going to definitely cut this album in half. I'll only walk away with about 11 at most. That it's going to be more like, that's, for me, that's a fail. I should be keeping more than 50% of the tracks. And if I'm keeping less than 50%, it's a fail. And I hate the age of 22, 23 track albums, because now when I say, oh, I love the Carter 5, my Carter 5 experience is going to be completely different to someone else's, because they might only keep half of it too. Anyway, overall, yeah, this album was a dud. It was actually painful to get through. Like, I wasn't enjoying it especially the middle section. The end picked up. Like, the beginning, first maybe 4 tracks and the last 4 tracks were great. And then, like, loads in the middle was just... It was painful. It was hard. I can't believe how much I disliked it and how it was Lil Wayne as well. I expected that from... this kind of feels like the rapper who has had a massive hit, and you go to hear the album to see if the album is any good, and then it's just like one hit and the rest is filler. The rest is just rubbish tracks. That's what this feels like. But he doesn't even have the hit. Lil Wayne is the hit at this point. That's why we've come, and there's loads of waste tracks there. So, as I said before, issue here is executive production. He needs an executive producer, because he's drinking his own Kool-Aid and just thinks everything he does is great. And Lil Wayne makes great. He is a raw material. He needs someone to come along and polish him. I say this about Biggie as well. Like, Biggie without Puff wouldn't have gone anywhere. He wouldn't have been that good. Biggie without Puff would have been Jadakiss. Jadakiss has done well, but he's not done great. He only has the ability to rap. He doesn't have any of the other stuff. And Puff Daddy brought that to Biggie. So, Biggie is really a duo of the two. It's like Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, or Eric B and Rakim. Like, one is the rapper and one is the producer or the executive producer. And so Biggie and Puff Daddy were just this amazing double act, because Biggie was this raw material. He wasn't polished. So without Puff, who knows though? He may have turned out that way. He was quite smart. He could have quite easily gone that route and polished himself up. But it was his first and second album. Like, he was very young. So yeah, he wasn't going to be that great. We don't know, but let's just assume he wasn't that great and Puff polished him up, because he definitely did a good job polishing. But Lil Wayne needs that. And everybody needs that. Like, not many rappers can do the entire thing themselves, and no one should think they can do it by themselves. I've seen what's happened to Kanye West. His quality has just gone down and down and down, and that might just be how everybody is. Maybe none of us are great executive producers. Maybe the roles shouldn't be combined. So yeah, the executive production is where it fell down, and if he was ever to do another album, he needs to hire someone to be there just to say yes or no. He can't do this by himself. Or humble himself and just, yeah, I will just be the rapper and you be the executive producer. It's hard. It's really hard to do that, because you want to be the boss and you're the richest and you don't want to submit to anyone. But it will come up with the best music if you do that. So I really think he needs to do this. He can't... Will there be another Carter? Will there be a Carter 7? I mean, he said he's not going to stop rapping. Yeah, he could put out another Carter, but it would be a mistake of him to put out one without a huge amount of quality improvement. I kind of have this fear about Drake. I really want Drake to put out a short and powerful, high quality album. I don't think he will. I think it's going to be another bloated album. You know, I'm excited about Iceman, but For All the Dogs was big and bloated and good at times. But yeah, I think Drake's gonna put the same thing out, and I don't know which way Lil Wayne. I don't know which way Lil Wayne's gonna go. It's hard to tell. I don't really have much. You know what's interesting? I had faith. I thought Drake would pivot, and I thought after the rap battle, he's gonna lock in. He's gonna make us a short album. He's gonna be focused on lyrics. You know, Scary Hours 3 type. I thought he was gonna do that. And the songs he's put out since have not displayed that. And then Sexy Songs for You has just been, it's more of the same really, which, you know, is hurting compared to Kendrick. Because Kendrick is just, you know, if you compare their last albums, Kendrick is doing phenomenal. Like Luther's still in the top 5 of the charts now. And it came out last year. Yeah. Sexy Songs for You came out Valentine's Day. So how is Kendrick above Drake? Well, it's all down to quality. Drake put out another bloated album, 20 or so tracks with Party Next Door, who I'm just not fond of. Maybe he should just give up. Maybe Drake should just pull the plug. This guy, I don't know. I heard that whole album and I just wasn't into anything he did. Yeah, so in terms of Lil Wayne, which direction do I think he's going to go? Is he going to go back to doing more of the same, another bloated album, or is he going to do a tight, concise, high-quality album? Unlike Drake, where I thought he would go that way, I thought he would pivot, and he didn't. I just assumed he was wise enough to do that. He didn't, so he's not as wise as I thought he was. With Lil Wayne, I don't think he's wise at all, so I think he's just going to put out more of the same. I mean, if he wasn't wise enough to notice that this was bad, then he's not wise enough to pivot. Eminem did pivot. He put out Relapse, which I think is actually quite good. I liked it. But he then pivoted and put out Recovery, which was a pop album, but he resurrected his Fortunes. But no, the resurrection I want to talk about is Revival. Revival, which ironically is called a revival when it was actually a death. It was an awful album, somewhat like this one, really. But that was really pop. Like, that album was really pop. And it was a sellout album. Sellout in the bad way, as in sell your soul, sell out, not sell out of the shops, because it was panned universally, just like this album. He pivoted and he brought out Kamikaze, and it was just a return to form. It was just right. He's back to hip hop. He's not doing those pop songs. He doesn't have Ed Sheeran. He doesn't have Beyonce. He's just going straight for it. And I love Kamikaze. Like, Kamikaze is a great later Eminem album, because he doesn't have many great later albums. And I get bored by the stuff he puts out. I haven't liked much of what he put out. Death of Slim Shady was good, actually. I liked that one. I liked Kamikaze, but Kamikaze was a breath of fresh air. Like, Eminem's still relevant. I can get behind this. Yeah. Then he put out Music to Be Murdered By, which was then a whole album of like 18 or so songs. And then he put out Side B, which was almost the same size, which was in itself its own album. Yeah, not a great move. And I just wasn't excited by the album. But yeah, Kamikaze, what a pivot. Well, Lil Wayne will not do that. He will not pivot. So he'll just put out another bloated Carter 7 album. And he said he's going to keep rapping. I don't think that's wise. I don't. I mean, he's doing it for his love of hip-hop, fine. But he is doing it at the expense of his credibility, because this has hurt him loads. And if he's just going to fade away, it's just disappointing. I'd rather just him not carry on. Just like, foster other talent. You've got a label. Focus on them and, feature on that. Like, he's a great feature artist. Feature on their songs. Do that. Don't make your own music because it's just not great unless you're going to be humble and wise and get people to help you make it better and go under them. But Carter 6, it's so weird. Like, okay, I'm really glad that I'm around for this, that I'm paying attention. As you can see on my channel, I don't have much in the past. So yeah, I'm restarting this whole venture. And so I'm here for a moment in hip hop. And there have been some bad albums in the past. I missed the whole Chance the Rapper thing. I just heard about it. But to experience it is another thing. And to hear what everyone's saying and to be on the same page, it's an experience. I just want more good experiences, not bad experiences. But here we are. He's given us a bad experience. And yeah, that's the joy I can derive from this album. Maybe 9 tracks. And the joy of being plugged in with everyone else and having the same opinion, because I absolutely have the same opinion. This was painful. So yeah, that's nice. Sadly, like some people do have albums that really seriously hurt your credibility. Chance the Rapper, you know, he hasn't put out an album since, so that tells you a lot. That really hurt him, his credibility and his public opinion. And this is the same thing is happening for Lil Wayne. Nobody really talked about this album in a positive way. Like, you'd expect there to be something. Sometimes albums hang around and people continue to talk about them for a while. But that didn't happen with this. People bashed it for the week or two after it came out, and then it just disappeared because it had no cultural impact. No big single, no hit, no commentary. There's really nothing here. And it's only gone, it's bad publicity. And they say any publicity is good publicity, but this proves that that's not the case. He was so much better without this. So this is a big step backwards for him. And I don't want a future in which all the legends, they dry up and wither away and shrivel. And Lil Wayne's in that position. Although I will say, the Fix Before the 6, that was actually decent. I didn't hear the whole thing, but from what I heard, I had no complaints. I might have to listen to that now, going back. But also, the thing I really liked about it was Slip. That song Slip was just amazing. Just lyrically, it was just so powerful, and he was so sharp. He was just on top. And you can hear how seasoned he is. He's so good. So, I've done this a few times. I did this with Drake. I reviewed Views, and I was bored by Views, and I was so bored that I decided to go back and listen to whatever he did previously for something entertaining, and it was What a Time to Be Alive, and I just fell in love with that album. So I might need to do that. I need to get something good by this bad album has led me to a good album. And it was, I don't know if it was a mixtape or an album, but it was short, which is exactly what I want. So I loved it. And maybe it was easier when he wasn't trying so hard, because this, well, I don't know if he was trying hard, but he had other genres in here, which, you know, to me is like trying hard, because you want to get as many people in. There was a country singer on here, an attempt to get streams from other people who might not, you know, when they like make it as wide as possible so that most people listen to it. That kind of commercial decision. He had that. But the Fix Before the 6, which was a long time ago. I thought it was just going to be like a holdover for the short, you know, for just like 3 months or so. No, it's been like at least 9 months since that. But that was good. So I'm going to go back to that. So overall, I don't yet have a rating system, because this is the first one I'm doing for a long time. Should I give it I should give it a number out of 10, but for me, this is out of 10. I'm going to give it 3.5. It was just, I was bored. I was properly bored. So that brings it down below the 50% line. And yeah, there were just a few tracks at the beginning, a few tracks at the end that I liked. And this just had no redeeming features at all, other than the few songs that I liked. But there was nothing that made it more than an album. And there weren't that many interesting sounds or interesting ideas, or not many concepts. I mean, there was the Mama song, but that's a pretty, tried and tested one, so it's not really new. Alone with My Guitar, that one was original, and I give that a lot of credit, but that's not going to bring it up. So yeah, 3.5 is what I give this album. And that's my review.